People around me keep saying and doing things that no one else notices, and now I'm questioning my reality and wondering if I'm losing my mind. Posted by you/whatshappeningg. I'm 22, and until a couple weeks ago, I would have described my life as pretty normal. I work at my uncle's factory, but I'm not one of the people on the floor. I'm more like the office helper, spreadsheets, balancing books, answering phones, and whatever else pops up. It's informal, but it pays well, and my uncle is the boss. I mostly deal with another manager who's a friend of his, so it's a pretty relaxed environment. About 2 weeks ago, things started to get strange. I was sitting at my desk, not really busy, when I heard my boss say, "Phil sighs as he looks at the weather." It was such an odd thing to say, so I looked up, expecting him to explain or laugh, but he just stared back at me, completely confused. He swore he hadn't said anything. I tried to shrug it off, but it really stuck with me. The next day, things got even weirder. I was talking to some coworkers on the factory floor about a work order, and one of them, who I usually get along with, called me a name. I was shocked and called him out, but everyone looked at me like I was making things up. They all insisted he hadn't said anything like that. We ended up laughing it off, blaming the noise in the factory, but I felt uneasy. I know it's loud, but I was sure I heard it. Then it started happening outside of work. I went to Walmart to pick up a few things. While I was there, a worker stocking shelves looked right at me and said, "The chicken was just killed." It was so random and specific that I had to ask him what he meant. He looked at me like I was completely out of my mind and said he hadn't spoken to me at all. I felt embarrassed and left the aisle as quickly as I could. At home, things weren't any better. My boyfriend told me he was making salmon for dinner. I could hear him in the kitchen. I could even smell what I thought was salmon cooking, and I was looking forward to it. But when he brought dinner out, it was lasagna. I asked him where the salmon was, and he looked at me like I was being silly and said, "What?" I said lasagna tonight. He brushed it off and acted like I was just being forgetful or joking around. This kind of thing kept happening. Sometimes I'd notice little details changing, like a shirt I was sure was green suddenly being teal, or people around me narrating what they were doing, but when I'd ask about it, they'd insist they hadn't said anything. It started to feel like people were messing with me on purpose, but it wasn't just my friends or coworkers. Random people on the street seemed to be involved, too. That's when I started to wonder if this was some kind of elaborate prank, but it didn't make sense. There was no way so many people could be in on it. My anxiety was getting worse by the day. My boyfriend would say he was going to the bar, and then when I'd come out of the shower and ask why he was still home, he'd say, "Because I live here," and act like he'd never mentioned going out. My friend even pulled me aside at one point and asked if I was feeling okay, which made me feel even more anxious and self-conscious. I started to worry that I was actually losing my mind, and the idea terrified me. I decided to make a doctor's appointment, but the earliest I could get was a week away. I told myself I'd wait, but if things got worse, I'd go to the ER. I didn't want to offend anyone struggling with mental illness, but I was honestly scared that something was really wrong with me. I felt like my mind was slipping away, and I couldn't trust what I was hearing or seeing anymore. I just wanted to feel normal again, and have someone tell me what was happening. I posted on Reddit because I didn't know where else to turn. I was worried people would think I was making it up or being dramatic, but I needed to get it out. The responses were overwhelming. So many people encouraged me to see a doctor right away, and a few even shared stories about similar symptoms leading to serious conditions. That made me even more nervous, but also convinced me I needed to take it seriously. I'm in Canada, so I made an appointment with my doctor, but it was still a week away. I even considered going to the ER if things kept happening. It happened again that night. My boyfriend said he was going to the bar. I took a shower, came out, and asked why he was still there, and he looked at me like I was making things up. "Because I live here," he said. "I thought you were going to the bar?" No. It was like we were living in two different realities. I was scared to tell anyone else, but my friend noticed something was off and asked if I was okay. I tried to play it off, but I could tell she was worried. I didn't want to be thrown in a hospital or have people think I was losing it, but I was honestly terrified. Update, November 29th, 2015, 5 days later. I never in a million years expected my post to get so much attention. I was using my boyfriend's Reddit account on his phone and saw my own post near the top of the front page. I was shocked and a little embarrassed. When he saw what I was looking at, we had a pretty awkward conversation. He'd read the post before, but only realized it was me when he saw the username on my laptop. I had changed some details, but he put it together. We ended up talking for a long time. He asked me a lot of questions about what I remembered from the past few days, things he'd said, and things I thought I'd heard. We were both scared and confused. Eventually, he said he was taking me to the emergency room. I didn't want to go at first. I just wanted to wait for my doctor's appointment. I didn't know how to explain everything to the doctors and nurses, and I felt embarrassed, but he convinced me. The ER was slow that night. I live in a small town, but we have a big hospital because we're close to Toronto and other towns use our hospital too. There was just one other patient, a father with a sick child. When I explained what was happening to the nurses, they looked at me like I was making it up, but when I saw the doctor, he took me seriously. He wrote down everything I said and ordered some tests, including x-rays. After a lot of questions and waiting, the doctor came back with news I never expected. I have a tumor in my brain. Writing that out still doesn't feel real. Tomorrow, I'm having surgery. I'm scared, but my boss was understanding when I told him, and my family is being supportive. I'm worried about missing work and paying rent, but I know I have to focus on my health right now. Thank you to everyone who told me to see a doctor. I don't know what comes next, but I'll update when I can. I'm scared, but I'm alive. 10-year update, April 18th, 2025. It's been 10 years since all of that happened, and my life is completely different now. I don't use social media much anymore, but a friend sent me my old post and asked if it was me. I read it over and honestly cringed at how I wrote back then, but I was young and going through something really tough, so I try to be kind to my younger self. That boyfriend didn't stick around. He left when he realized how long my recovery would take and what it would involve. I ended up moving back in with my family. They're all nurses and caregivers, so I had the smoothest recovery I could have hoped for. I went through years of therapy, both physical and mental. I eventually lost my factory job, but it wasn't really their fault. I missed a lot of work and was struggling for a while. It took me a few years to really get back on my feet. Now, I'm with someone new. He's a lumberjack type, which is kind of a Canadian cliche, but I love it. His mother went through something almost identical to what I did when she was younger, so we bonded over that experience. My life isn't perfect, but I'm happy. I'm child-free, I have a job I tolerate, and I have enough money to spend time with friends and family. I stay off social media now. After surviving a brain tumor, I don't feel the need for more drama or stress in my life. I still think about that time in my life sometimes. It feels like a different world now, but I remember how scared I was and how lost I felt. I'm grateful for my family, who took care of me, and for the people online who pushed me to see a doctor. I realize now how important it is to listen to your body and trust yourself when something feels off. For anyone who's curious about the medical bills, I live in Canada, so yes, my surgery and treatment were free. That was a huge relief and made it easier to focus on getting better. Thank you again to everyone who supported me all those years ago. I'm grateful to be here, and I'm grateful for the people who helped me along the way. Life isn't perfect, but I'm content, and that's enough for me.